I am probably going to really blow the minds of some, but I think EA Sports PGA Tour is a ton of fun. Now, if it sounds like I am plugging my nose over the course of this video, that's because I am very sick. And of course, that happens right around the launch of a game. But I really wanted to get my first impressions out for EA Sports, especially before the official launch, so that maybe if you're kind of on the fence, you kind of know a little bit more information on whether you want to get it or not. And this is in no means a way for me to say you should get this or you shouldn't get this, because in the end, it is your money. I can only just give you my first impressions and just kind of show you some footage, and you can go from there. Now, right now, there's a lot of discourse around the game because there's a lot of people in EA's side who are really hammering home about how great EA is, and then there's people on 2K's side that are really hammering home how great 2K is. They're kind of at a battle right now. I just want to give you what I've seen in the game. Now, for me, I've been firmly entrenched in 2K's offering, HB before that with the golf club, for years now, because it's been the only game that's been on the market. And for someone like me, I had absolutely zero expectations for this game. And for me to come away kind of, I would say, impressed after a little over 20 hours in the game, I think definitely holds a little weight. Now, I have played through every single mode, so I'm going to touch base on all of them, but I'm also going to give some information about UI and, gameplay and all of it. The entire game, I'm going to give you a complete overview. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I will make sure to timestamp everything that I go over for this video. So if you want to skip around to the things that you find most important, then you can do that. It'll all be timestamped in there for you. Now, the first thing I want to start off with is the first thing that you will see when you load up the game, and that is the UI and the menus. And the UI and menus in EA Sports PGA are pretty bad. Scrolling through all the menus is super slow. Everything lags behind. It kind of like loads everything in as you're scrolling through. If you do it slow, it's just you have to wait for it to load before it even does anything. When you're going into like tournaments and different things within the UI and you back out, instead of taking you to where you were, it takes you like all the way back to the main menu or to the first page of something. It's just very cumbersome. It's a huge waste of time if you are going through all of the menus. And it's definitely something that they should probably look at, maybe streamlining a little bit. Not only are the menus kind of laggy, there's things missing where you think that they would be. So like if you're in your career mode and you get an upgrade, you would think right from the career mode, you'd be able to go to the golfer tab to make those upgrades. Nope, back all the way out to the main menu, go over to the golfer tab, and then you can update your skill points from there. It's just, everything seems very against the user experience, but it is something that can definitely be fleshed out over the course of the game being out. I hope they don't keep everything just kind of the same how it is now with the UI and menus, because overall it's very cumbersome and it's really not that great. Next up is just the Quickplay function. I did want to touch base on this just because I think it is very good. Because not only can you go in and play by yourself, you can actually go in and play against 3 other CPU players. Now, I have found some instances of the AI being kind of bad, like just like hitting where they definitely shouldn't be and kind of setting them up for kind of a worse shot than what they could have had. But overall, I think they're good enough to actually have a pretty enjoyable experience playing against them in Quickplay. The best thing, though, which is in Quickplay and also tied to some other online modes as well, is the addition of custom holes. So if you have time for 4 holes, you don't want to go in and, start 1, 2, 3, 4, or 10, 11, 12, 13 and quit out and not get any experience. You actually have the ability to select custom holes for each course. So if you want to go and just play certain holes at that course, practice them, or if you only have time for about 4 holes and you want to play your 4 favorite holes at Augusta, you can actually go in, select 4 that you want, or 5 or 6 or 10 or however many you want, and go out and play just those, and you can actually earn XP for just those holes that you play. It allows you to get in and get out extremely quick. If you just want to get something quick in, you only have 5-10 minutes and you're just like, I'm going to play some golf real quick. This allows you to do that, and it is a phenomenal addition. Now, I wish there was a practice area, putting green and all that stuff like we get on 2K in EA, but this is a nice trade-off for now. So in career mode, I just got to the PGA Tour, but so far, though, it is very good. I think the career mode is where it will really outshine and kind of sway some people over into playing this game over maybe something like 2K, because the career mode is very good. You have coaching challenges, you have sponsor challenges, you have career mastery, there's quests, track stats. The settings are pretty good. I've been playing on quick, and I have actually been enjoying the way that they set up, playing 4 holes here, 5 holes here. But if you're close at the end, well, let's go play the whole back 9 for one of the rounds. And the reason I'm playing on quick is because right now, they don't have an option to choose how many rounds you want to play per tournament, which is kind of bad. I mean, I would like to just do 2 full rounds. I think that'd be great. 1 round for the cut, the second round to finish it up. That's like a really good pace, especially for me. Some people like playing the full rounds, and it is good for the quests and the career mastery for sure doing that. But the way that the presentation's set up and all the cutscenes and everything to kind of give you that experience, it really makes the rounds drag on quite a bit. And for someone who just likes to get in, out, quickly, get it done, kind of move on to the next, I like the addition of the quick, but I would like to be able to choose 2 full rounds for a tournament. That'd be great. AI pairings are a lot of fun. I haven't gotten to it for career mode, but I have done it in the quick play, and I enjoy it. It's something that I kind of missed from the old Tiger games, playing against that AI and just having somebody else there to go up against. And what they do in EA, having the option to only play the AI pairing in the last round, I think is a nice touch, especially if you want to get through the 3 quick. But hey, what if you're at the top in that last round? Maybe you want to play against the person who's second or third and kind of play along with them. You have that option to do it in the final round, which adds to the excitement of the entire career mode. And right now, I would say, if you're into career and you want a career, this is the deepest career option on the market right now. And you could definitely get hours of entertainment playing through it. Next up is the competitive head-to-head. And honestly, there really isn't one. Right now, the head-to-head sits at playing Eamon's Corner or just a random 9 holes. And it is essentially 2K21 leaderboards. And that's it. Now, I have a feeling that they're going to expand on it. There are filters in there that say Season 1. So I'm guessing they're going to have different seasons for it. But right now, it's pretty shallow. I have tried to find a match. I've tried for however many days it's been available to me, and I haven't found one yet. When you go through the leaderboards, not a lot of people are playing it. So if you're looking for maybe a little bit more of a fleshed ranked system, I mean, 2K has that now. They just put it in, but they do have a much better fleshed ranked system in place right now. Because right now, EA, they don't have anything. It's very shallow, not much there. And I'm not saying that that's where it's going to be forever. I'm just saying where it sits now, if you're somebody who enjoys that head-to-head grind, I don't know if this game is really for you where it presently sits. Next up are the challenges, and I mean, they're great. I have just scratched the surface. So challenges are very good because instead of having a tutorial system, they use the challenge system to kind of teach you the game. So you have some beginner challenges where they're actually teaching you this is what downhill putts look like and uphill putts and playing out of the bunker and playing these different shot types. This is how it all goes. And it's great because in a tutorial, you just do the tutorial to get through the tutorial so you can get to the game. But in challenges, they mix the tutorial in with the challenges so that you're actually getting rewarded for doing the tutorial that they have in the challenges. It's a great system. It's really cool. I enjoy how they actually implemented the challenges into the tutorial. And it's not just a tutorial. There are very difficult challenges as well where you have to play some AI or do some specific shots or make a certain putt. And it is something that they said that they're going to be doing more of through the season. So as moments happen in the world of golf, maybe at Augusta this weekend, they'll be adding in challenges that go along with those moments in golf that you can then complete for rewards. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go through all of them with you, but there are a lot. And there are a lot of rewards that you can get, including XP that helps get your golfer better. There is a drawback to them, though, and it comes back to bad UI. Bad interface, bad menus. So when you load into a challenge, you get the loading screen for the challenge, and then it's done. And then the course shows, and you skip through that, and then another splash screen comes up, says, oh, you're in a challenge, and then you have to skip through that, and then you finally get to the challenge that you're doing. It's a cumbersome experience, and it's something that you'll find a little frustrating, especially if you don't get like the 3 stars that you want for the challenge, and you have to restart. Because when you restart, it doesn't just put you back at the first one. It takes you back to the first, looking at the course and skipping through that, and hey, you're at a challenge and skipping through that, and then getting to the challenge. So it's a cumbersome experience, especially if it's not something that you nail on the first try. The whole process could definitely just be sped up. Just, you don't need any of that stuff. I know that I'm in a challenge. I know what course I'm at. I know what I'm doing. Just get me to the challenge. And if I restart, just take me back to my first shot again. It's definitely something that from the user experience can be improved. And, hopefully it is something that is maybe on their radar to do some point during this cycle of game. Next up is a social tab. I mean, it's there. No one plays it, so I'm not sure why it's there, but it's there. But within the social tab, you can have up to 16 players. But I've, again, like the ranked head-to-head, I've gone in here and tried to find a single person, and I've never been able to find a single person. Every single time I've tried. Morning, afternoon, night, prime time, nobody's playing it. Now, could all this change when the game actually launches? Yeah, it could. There'll be 4 people instead of none. But you just have to see what happens. I was told, my comment section has been telling me for the longest time that EA is going to be the ones that bring the old lobby system back. There's no way they're not going to have the old lobby system in there. 2K is stupid for not putting the old lobby system in there. Well, guess what? There's no lobby system. So, that's weird. Next up is the bread and butter, I think, for EA, and that's their tournament system. There are daily, weekly, seasonal tournaments going on right now. All the rewards that I've seen have been really good, ranging from coins to tickets to XP to clubs to specializations for those clubs. The rewards are really good, and the way that they tier it out is really good too. Instead of being like, if you win, you get this, it's if you're in the top 5%, you get this. If you're in the top 20%, you get this. And I do like that. And there are some really good coin potentials in there too. Like some of the tournaments, like if you get in the top, you get like 80,000 coins. That's ridiculous. Now, it is something that looks like it's going to be going on for a month, but still, 80,000 coins is 80,000 coins. And then each day during the daily tournaments, you can pay some coins, 1,000, 2,000 coins, enter into a tournament, and if you do good enough, you can actually get the tickets that you need to enter into the weekly tournaments. So it's like you scale up. You do your daily tournaments, 1, 2, 3. I mean, you can do them all, but 1 a week or 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week, and you get those tickets that you need to then jump up to your weekly tournaments that you can then enter. I like the ticket system. However, I don't like that they're unlimited for a lot of the tournaments. I think that they should be a little bit more coveted than that because you can't buy them in the shop with real money. I don't really see that being a problem, but maybe it will be. And I think you could maybe solve that problem by just not making them unlimited. Limit it to 2 entries or 3 entries for the weekly and for the seasonal. That way you can kind of covet those a little bit more. But, it's all a wait and see. I'll just have to see how it plays out. Is somebody going to spend a bunch of money to spam tournaments? Maybe. But, if they're good, then they won't have to. And if they're bad, then they're just going to be bad. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. One thing I will say that's really cool, though, is getting rewards for placing at a certain level in tournaments. So right now, there's a tournament for the Masters. It's the final tournament. It's the Sim tournament. Limited entries, but if you do good enough, you get a full set of clubs. So the first tier will get all of them. Second tier will get most of them. Third tier will get like half of them. Fourth tier will get a couple of them. Last tier will get like one of them. It's a way to kind of distinguish yourself. So like if you have a full set of those clubs, if people do see your bag at any point in time and see that you have all of those, they'll know that, oh, this guy won that tournament or placed really well in that tournament. More of that stuff is great. I think the way to distinguish yourself is awesome. If they do more of that, then I am fully on board with it. But they do have to, jump headfirst into that. So hopefully they do. Now, my biggest gripe so far about the game is the private match. Now, the private match was good enough. I've played a few rounds now in private match. However, it's only stroke play. There's no ult shot. There's no best ball, 4 ball, skins, nothing. Just stroke play. Now, for someone like me, and I think a lot of people in the golf gaming community, you like to get on with the boys, play some alt shot. Well, that sucks. You can't do it. Well, unless they're all at the same house, then you can. Another thing, too, when you invite people in, you can't change your golfer. So the person who sets the party up can choose a pro golfer because you have to go through that screen in order to get to it. Then when you invite somebody in, there's nowhere to change the golfer. So you're just always using your My Player, which is kind of a bummer, especially if you want to play against like a couple pros with friends. I'm hoping that's just a bug. It's something that can be fixed. But like as soon as you try to back out to the selection screen for your golfer, it just ends the party that you're in. And that, and paired with stroke play only, man, launching with just stroke play, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine for a lot of people, but that's going to be a big bummer for a ton of people as well. And if they never look to add that into the game, that is going to be a real big bummer for this game. But let's just stay optimistic. Everything's fine. They're going to add an alt shot next week and everything will be good. I do want to say, though, because if you've followed any of my 2K content, when they released rank, I was really pumped for it until the servers just didn't work for me. I had constant disconnects, probably 2-3 times a stream I would get disconnected. Something that plagues me to this day. And I will say, of all of the times that I have played EA against people, tournaments, just playing the game because you're always connected, I have not DC'd once. And that has been a breath of fresh air. So for me, +1. -1 to EA because there's no crossplay. But hopefully they get that in later. So past that, we have the store. And the store is fine. There's nothing in here that is pay to win, so that is good. Everything that does boost your player, like the specs for your different clubs, all have to be purchased with in-game coins, not the golf tokens that you buy with real money. Has to be with coins. No way to exchange for them either. Past that, though, just like the rest of the user experience and the menus, the interface is absolutely terrible. You have no way to sort through anything. You only have to scroll through everything. And as you're scrolling, just like the menus, you have to wait for everything to catch up. So it's like, you want to see some pants? Well, scroll through the entire store. Hopefully there's some pants in the store for sale right now. So if the overall menu can be improved to make it a little bit more engaging for the user, I think that would be great. Kind of like all of the menus in the game right now. I will say, though, there are some really nice bundles where you buy a bundle of shirts and you get every single color that they have. No color wheel that I've seen so far, which is definitely a bummer. I'm feeling that the color wheel is kind of dead and gone, buried now. I don't think it's ever going to be making a comeback in golf games, which I've kind of accepted. Prices right now seem kind of high, but also don't have a ton of time in the game. Some of the bigger tournaments haven't finalized either, so maybe once the coins start actually flowing in, playing the game, they won't seem so expensive. But, I mean, you can always just buy them with real money, too. There's that option. And, I mean, the store in its entirety, this is early access where I'm still in, so I'm sure it'll be built out over the course of weeks, months. I'm sure it'll definitely get a lot better. Where it sits now, though, I mean, the things that are in there are great. There's not a lot of it, and the entire interface is bad. It's still okay, though. Oh, now for the golfer. So, the golfer, way too early to tell how it's going to scale. My golfer right now is currently a 77 overall, and I'm shooting pretty good at the hardest swing difficulty. Like at Banded Dunes, I shot a 31 under over the course of a tournament. I shot an 8 under round at Augusta, but then there's times that I shoot like a 2 over. It's kind of all over the place, but I feel better my character gets, the smaller the dispersion gets, and it will allow me to shoot a lot better. But just gotta wait and see how it all scales. Overall, the leveling system, though, has been really good. It's gonna be a grind, that's for sure, just because of all the XP that you need to level up your character. But it's been fun. It's been rewarding. I have enjoyed the leveling system that they have and the badges that you get for unlocking different things by putting your skill points in. It's all been rewarding and fun, and I like it. I'm not sure where balancing will come in, because like with 2K, there's a lot of like balancing that's in play to make it the most competitive you can. I don't know if there's a cap on your golfer. I'm sure I'll find out here soon. But those are all things that just gonna have to wait and see on that front. The big thing, though, and I alluded to it earlier, is you have 4 golfers that you can make on one system. Those 4 golfers can be logged in, played as, have separate careers, separate functions, separate skills, separate loadouts, separate bags. Everything is in these 4 golfers. Anything that is bought on the main character can be used on the additional golfers as well. But where there is a positive, there is still kind of a negative. The creator overall is definitely weak. You only get a certain amount of heads to choose from, 2 body types, no height adjustment, limited hair options, limited facial hair options, no way to fine tune anything. Is it awful? No. Is it great? No. Is it good? Barely. I'd say it's okay, but definitely something that I was looking for a little bit more in. And another thing that was really kind of fell short with me was the swing creator. I think I had it in my head that it was going to be something like MLB The Show with their, their swing creator, or NBA 2K with their shot creator. But they're like, here's 3 swing animations and a couple of fine-tuning adjustments for types. That's it. Now, is it better than 2K? Yeah, because 2K doesn't have any. But still kind of just left me wanting more. Like maybe a way to blend the golfers that you have in there, blend their swing to kind of make your own. I think that would have been good. And who knows, maybe it is something that they can add in later, or next iteration, if there's going to be a next iteration. And of course, I get to the meat and potatoes and my voice starting to give out, but I'm going to try to power through this. So we're on to gameplay. We're on to presentation, kind of the meat and potatoes of the game. So let's get started. First off, this is going to be super short. Well, this section. And that's presentation. Because the presentation is phenomenal. I don't want to spoil anything. And honestly, this would be spoiling something. But they have some really nice touches for certain tournaments. Like if you make the Masters, don't skip it. Watch the full presentation at the beginning. It is really cool what they do. The announcers, while you're playing, they'll talk about past holes. They'll talk about future holes. They'll be talking about how you've been playing on par 5s. Well, he just made a putt there. His putting hasn't been doing too great today, but he made this one. They'll talk about how you've played in past tournaments. They'll talk about where leaders are. The presentation is all great. The splash screens, hole flyovers, the commentary, going to the course and talking to their on-course analysts, commentators. Man, it is really well done. And as far as it comes to presentation, that's it. If you play it, you'll see. It's very good. But now gameplay. And I'm going to start with the swing mechanics. So, for me personally, when I first started playing, I didn't like them. Everything seemed slow, just felt clunky, and it still does feel a little clunky to me. But the more that I played, the more I started to enjoy the swing mechanic. And I think it happened the moment that I stopped comparing it to 2K. The moment I started to look at it as its own separate mechanic and not compare it to the 2K mechanics, because they are vastly different. For 2K, it is purely based on mechanics. Perfect is a perfect. That tempo, you have to be on your game to hit that tempo. It is a pure input is king mechanic. The mechanics of the swing stick are what lead to results in 2K's game. In EA, you still have that, but there is more of an RNG factor to it, which sounds bad and isn't great, but it definitely makes for an interesting round of golf. Now, what do I mean by that? So I'm fairly certain. So like when you zoom into your shot and you see a little circle around it, that's your dispersion zone. I'm fairly certain if you fast it or slow it, it just flips a coin on where it's going to go within the dispersion zone that it has occurred. So when you overswing, that dispersion zone gets bigger. And then if you fast it, slow it, it gets even bigger. And then the game just kind of selects where it goes from there. Because there's been times where I've fasted it and it's gone left. There's been times I've fasted it and it's gone right. There's been times that I've fasted it and it goes straight. It is very randomized. At least it feels random. I haven't found any rhyme or reason to it. And again, I'm torn on whether I like it or not. It leads to a much more interesting round of golf. That's for sure. So instead of like always pin seeking, you kind of have to be aware of what might happen even if you hit a really good perfect shot, on whether that's going to go where you want it. Almost more sim in a way, because you could hit the perfect shot out on the course, but it still ends up, 5 yards right or 5 yards left. Like, you may do all of your mechanics right out on the golf course, and you may think that you have the perfect shot, but sometimes it doesn't always go where you want, which EA kind of simulates that a little bit. Again, two vastly different things. That is for sure. Two vastly different mechanics. Now, the swing mechanic on EA does allow you to do partials like a lot easier because the tempo still stays relatively the same. So when you pull the distance back, the time it takes to get to the top is about the same as if you had a full swing. So it allows you to time things a lot better because things are slowed down even more to do certain swings so that you can complete partials a lot better. Now in 2K's system, you do a lot of like loft and spin and things like that to kind of work on your partial shots instead of actually taking partial shots. But on EA, you can just dial back a 9-iron, kind of like how you would do in real life, where it's like, oh, I just want to take a little bit off of a 9-iron, take a little bit off of a 9-iron. I feel like it's a lot more of a fluid mechanic for doing partials. Not saying that 2K is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but EA just allows you to do it a lot easier. Now, there is a fade and draw mechanic. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like it. I can't decide. Because on one end, it is difficult, which is great. But on the other end, it works against you at all times. Now, what do I mean by that? So, on like a PlayStation controller, like when you hit something, right, the stick always wants to move back to the center because that's how a controller works. So you would think if you're making somebody come off to the corner that you would make them go back to center and then follow through opposite of that. No, not in EA's game. You go off to corner and then you have to fight the stick moving back to center and do this strange diagonal shot, which does make it difficult, but it seems to be working against you at every turn. It may be something I just need more time with, and you can turn it off too, where you just swing straight up and down. But I definitely like the additional difficulty. Just don't know if I like the system that they used for that additional difficulty. I think I just need more time. And with the mechanics, everything is slow to me. I mean, everything is slow. Even the ball flight, everything is slow. I know some people will say, no, it's not. 2K is just fast. It's like, okay, to me, it's slow. Now, it is used in the mechanics to judge power, so I understand why they went the route that they did. I also think it's a way to mask 30 FPS, but that's a different story. Overall, though, I'm just not a fan. Again, the more I play it, the more I come to enjoy it, so maybe it's just something I'm so entrenched in 2K and 2K's mechanics that I just need a little bit more time with EA's mechanics in order to come to appreciate it. But right now, everything seems like it's in slow motion. And the putting, overall, not my thing. I still think 2K knocks their mechanic out of the park with how it works. I think 2K still holds the best putting mechanic that's ever been made in a video game for golf. Having the swing tied to an overall distance, like 2K has, I think makes it a little bit more challenging and a little bit more rewarding to complete that mechanic than it does with EA's. Now, EA's roles definitely might be more true to life because they've created a physics engine specifically for each course. But the overall putting mechanic of 2K, I still enjoy more. Personal opinion, yeah. For me, I just enjoy it more. I think if it's something that you thoroughly enjoy, 2K's putting mechanic, I don't think you'll like EA's putting mechanic. I've learned to work with it, and I do like how like tempo is kind of tied to it, which makes the putting even harder. But the overall mechanic it's just not my thing. I'm using it. I'm coming to, terms with just using it and enjoying it for what it is, but it's not that great. And also, if you thought the beads were bad in 2K, oh, just wait until you play EA. Just wait. There will be beads that are showing like, heavy brake to the right, heavy brake to the right, and then it breaks left. And you're like, well, what? Well, how'd that happen? It's like, well, that's baseball. And like that wouldn't be, that just needs to get fixed. And it wouldn't be as big of a problem, but the cameras are so limited, you can't even like get down and look at it. Like this is like the best view you can get at the actual green, like something like this. Like the shot from like just behind your putter. But the beads are pretty broken. Not not a lot of the courses I've played, you usually get about 1 or 2 greens where it's like, why did it break right? All the beads are moving heavy left. Definitely something that they could tune probably with how they create their beads each time a putt's aligned. But it's really funny when you play with the putt path line, the line that shows you where it's going to go. And it shows everything is breaking to the right and the putt line is breaking left. And you're like, okay, that's fun. They're bad. And you have to rely on them with your limited cameras. And because you have to rely on them, it definitely is frustrating. And like I said earlier, the dispersion that you get on shots, you also get in EA's putting. If you do a fast tempo, if you overswing, if you underswing, you have an actual dispersion on the putter that occurs, which makes you miss some putts. And that is something I'm actually slightly a fan of. I do like 2K where it's like, you just hit it. You hit it where it's going. The only thing you have to worry about is power. But having it tempo tied to it kind of makes it like golf. Because if your tempo's off on your putter when you're golfing, I mean, it's not always going to be straight. Sometimes it comes off the face a little bit cockeyed because your tempo's a little bit off. Like I said, it's something that it's more of a simulation, but it takes input a little more out of your hands. So there's trade-offs. Now, upgrading my putter accuracy will more than likely help with this. So what the putting is going to be like when I'm a 90 overall character, we just got to wait and see. Also, I don't think there's any lip outs. I haven't seen one. Nobody in my chat has seen one. I don't know if there are any lip outs in this game. From what I've seen, it's a threshold. Like when a ball reaches a certain amount, it just magnets into the cup. If you've seen a lip out in this game, let me know in the comments. I don't know if they exist, which is a bummer because yes, they are heartbreaking when they happen, but that is just something that happens in golf, and that happens in golf quite a bit. So if it's something that's not in, hopefully they can work that into the physics engine because, I mean, that's just golf. And I touched on it a little bit, but cameras? Hello? Any cameras? Anybody's got any cameras? You're limited to a follow camera and a broadcast camera, and the broadcast cameras are pretty bad. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they're bad. So I can't even recommend using them, but the follow camera is strange. You can't adjust it at all. You can adjust it in air, but sometimes you'll move it and then the ball gets out of frame where you can't even see it. And you're like, okay, well, I just won't touch it. And then if you're like zooming in, like if you're in a bunker and you're zooming in up onto the green, it doesn't zoom all the way. You can't pitch the camera at all. Like because the what you would think would be used as pitch adjusts fade and draw. I don't know why you're doing that when you're zoomed in, but you are. So you can't adjust the pitch at all. So like if you're in a deep bunker and you're zooming out, you can't even see where you're landing. You can't even take a look at the green at all. You have to go all the way around. You have to go from like a 180 to actually see where you're hitting into. And by that time, everything is backwards because you're looking at it backwards. I don't know. It's a mess. The cameras are really not that great. I really hope that it's something that maybe they can change. I would like the fade and draw not be... You just can't do it when you zoom in. Give me an option to pitch the camera, please. Drops in the game are good-ish. Are they better than 2K? Yeah, but I mean, that's fairly easy to do. I mean, drops in 2K have been something that the community has been screaming about for a long time. In EA, they're good. You have a point of entry that you can actually drop the ball. There are a lot of illegal drops in EA, though, and a lot of them occur when you go over water and fall back into water. The game makes you drop illegally on the point of entry coming back in instead of before the body of water itself. That might be something that they could just tune for courses, I think. 'Cause that's the only time I've really ran into problems with the drop system. Overall, though, the drop system is pretty good. It's a lot better than 2K. Definitely some work to do, but still pretty good. Foot lies at extreme contouring are also kind of messed up. So if your ball lands in a place where your character can't like properly get a footing, instead of it making you take a drop or placing you back away from the hole, it'll just place you in the nearest like flat surface where it can put the ball. So I hit past a hole and there's a big old hill behind the hole, behind the green, and I went halfway up it and it stopped in the heavy rough. And instead of it taking the ball and like putting it just up on top of the hill, it took the ball and just placed me 15 feet away from the pin on the green, and I was putting. So instead of having like a par scramble, I was just putting for birdie. And you would think like, oh, that's not going to happen that much. No, it happens all the time. I mean, all the time too. Anything that has just a little bit of contouring to it, like I hit it into a bunker and it put me in the rough because the bunker was too deep, I think, for my character to actually get drawn onto the bunker to hit. So like placed me up onto the rough, not even in the bunker. I don't know. It's definitely strange. And hopefully something that can be patched. That's my hope, at least. Now, one place that you can be super aggressive and you don't really need much course management are recovering in the game. I think I have had, in a little over 20 hours of playtime, one bad lie. Every single one of my lies out of the second cut of rough have usually been 100 or at least close to 100. I think 91 is about the worst that I've gotten. One time I had a 60% lie, and I feel like that was a freak accident. Now, 2K I feel is definitely a little bit too punishing on their lies, but they don't have I don't know if they have a way to distinguish cut length on there, so it's like roughs kind of looked at all the same, whereas in EA they definitely, there's different rough lengths that they can go from, but I played at Whistling Straits 3 times now. One of the times I went into the deep stuff. I'm talking like I'm hitting out of grass that's up to my ass. 100% lie. Not even a problem. Just plunk it right on out of there. Good to go. I also don't think I have seen a single ball out of the bunker at less than 90%. They're all just the perfect of lies. I haven't plugged one. I took a driver in to one, and it hit into a slope like this, and it hit and just bounced straight up into the air and just kept on going. Just went right up over the bunker and out. No problem. I mean, maybe the bunker's made out of cement, or maybe the bunkers are just tuned a little too firm. I don't know what it is, but the lies, I think, could use just a little bit of tuning. Not anything extreme. And finally, on the gameplay side, let's talk about 30 FPS on consoles. I'm going to be quick with this, and I'm sure that, the golf doesn't need FPS. Andes will definitely latch onto this. But was 30 FPS as detrimental as I thought it was going to be? No. Is it still bad? Yes. All you really need to do, go play EA, turn it off, go play 2K. And that's it. That's all you need to do. With EA, the swing is very laggy. It falls behind. And when you're going for a specific frame on your power, not having the 30 additional frames being drawn in makes it so getting that perfect power, it's a little bit harder. Now, can you get to the roundabout? Sure. Yeah, but you are going to have some errant power that you're going to have. Because when you play it, you'll notice it seems very clunky. And it is something that you definitely need to adjust to. And I think that's something that people coming from 2K that they're noticing. They're playing for an hour and then just saying oh, this game's shit. Where me, if you power through it, if you give it the 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, you kind of start to understand what's going on. And if you can't look past it, you can't look past it. I have, though, and I think underneath there is a fun game. It's just with EA's game, you feel very disconnected from the swing. You're just kind of going with it. Whereas 2K, you feel a lot more connected. Everything feels a lot more fluid with the swing that you're performing. And I'm hoping that when they do get the 60 FPS, which they said they're going to, when they do get the 60 FPS performance mode out, hopefully the game will just feel better. Because man, when this game is standing still, it is gorgeous. It is the best looking golf game we have ever had. Period, bar none. This is it. It's the best. It is absolutely gorgeous when it's standing still. When there's slight movement, still gorgeous. But when you add in just a little bit of fast movement or the ball flying through the air or something along those lines, they motion blur the hell out of the whole entire thing. They add in some form of anti-aliasing, which sharpens everything. It doesn't look the greatest, especially along the outer 40% of the screen. And I don't know if that's a way to mask the 30 FPS or just for performance issues. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping when they do the 60 FPS, they add in, can I turn motion blur off? Yes, please. Hopefully that's something that gets added in. Because that fast motion, the game looks fairly ugly. It also has problems kind of with 2K at drawing in things a little bit further out. But again, that's all things that just can be updated or patched in as they optimize the game a little bit. But now, to wrap this all up with a nice little tidy bow, we're going to go over the one question I get asked probably the most. And that is, should I buy 2K? Should I buy EA? Which one's better? Is 2K better? Is EA better? Which one's better? Hey, what one's better, dude? Which do I buy? Now, I'll never give you that answer on which one to buy, because I don't think it's my place to tell you which to buy. I think it's your decision, your money. See what's out there, see what each brings, and make a decision with your money. But I'll just give you a couple of comparisons here. So, are you looking for an in-depth career mode, getting your skills, feeling more powerful as you go, having all of the majors? Is that something you're looking for, like that in-depth career mode? EA is probably the game that you want to get if that's what you're looking for. Do you want a more community-focused game? Societies, TGC tours, all the user-created courses, and the community that comes with that. 2K will probably be for you. Do you want to create a course through a library of a course creator that has been worked on for years and years and years? 2K is probably the game that you want to get. Do you want a ranked system, proper ranked with tiers and leaderboards and all that good stuff? 2K has that right now. Are you more tournament focused? Do you want daily, weekly, seasonal grind for tournaments against the entire player base? EA has that, and EA is very good. Do you want to have courses and physics for those courses that are finely tuned for that course? EA has that for you. Do you want to play alt shot with the boys? Well, you can't do that in EA right now. 2K you can, so maybe 2K is the thing you want to do. Price is always a thing too. I mean, 2K's been out longer. You might be able to get the game on sale a lot easier, so maybe that's something you want to do as well. Each game has their own thing. I think that EA provides a much more true-to-life representation for their courses. HB and 2K created a physics system to be used for thousands of courses. EA created a system to be used for 30 specific courses. So they will differ in that way. They each give their own thing. And I think that they both can live in this space very, very, very easily. And to close it out, as someone who came into this game with bottom of the barrel expectations, I will say I've been enjoying EA quite a bit. I have a lot more to scratch. There's a lot more to go. The challenges, the quests, all the specs. I haven't even got into the club specs yet, but I'm having fun with it. And if any of these things sounded fun to you, give it a try. But if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate you for watching this video. More EA PGA, more PGA 2K content to come. They're both great games. I enjoy both games immensely, and it's something that I'm going to continue to create content for. Man, I'm so happy that there's competition in the golf space again. Oh, man, that's awesome. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video. It helps get the video out into the algorithm, which helps promote the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it if you did. Subscribe for more content. As always, comment down below what you think of the game. And I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you on the next one. Holy fuck, I'm sick as hell. Jesus.